All right, I think we can get started. Thank you to everyone who's joining us, and welcome to this DigiShares Connect webinar. We'll be giving you some updates from our side, from the company. You'll see some product demos on the DigiShares side and also RealEstate.Exchange. And then we're keeping the best for last with the CEO of Carat Investments, Fabian Lauterwasser, who is joining us today, and he's going to present a great use case that he's leading. So we're very excited to have everyone here, and we can get started with Claus, the CEO of DigiShares.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the webinar. It's a pleasure to be here today, and welcome to everyone, and thanks for coming here to hear what we are doing. DigiShares is, of course, a market-leading player in the tokenization space. We offer an end-to-end solution for token minting, onboarding of investors, token sales, trading, and so on. We support multiple chains. It's highly customizable. We have open APIs and so on, and we've been working on it for 7 years, so it's pretty good. We also recently launched a light version of it. We call it Launch, starting at $3,000 upfront. So it's become much less expensive to get started and use a solution like this one to do a POC or a pilot or something like that and sort of test out the concept. It also works, it's scalable, right? So it works also for larger projects. We also recently launched RealEstate.Exchange, as Gabriel mentioned. We launched it in the US about a month ago in open beta. We're working on getting the first assets tokenized and on the exchange. And it will be quite inexpensive to list on the exchange. So again, we are trying to remove obstacles for anyone that wants to tokenize and achieve the value proposition of tokenization. So digitization, cost reduction, liquidity, and fractionalization, right? So RealEstate.Exchange is now launched in the US. We're working on launching also in South Africa together with our legal partner. And we will also eventually launch in the UAE and in the European Union. In connection with REX, we are launching also a decentralized ID protocol or standard together with Polygon and CK.me. This is quite a big exercise for us, and it's also quite important for the tokenization space because longer term, we need a common standard to make the different solutions interoperable. There really is no good solution today. Our standard DITO is free and independent from us, so it doesn't tie anyone into any specific vendor ecosystem. It is developed together with other partners who feel the same way. So hopefully it can become widespread, and it will be introduced to our white label partners and also to the different exchanges that we are going to launch. So I should mention also that RealEstate.Exchange is only the first vertical that we will cover. It is currently the biggest asset segment that we have in the tokenization space, but as demand arises for other types of asset classes like mining, commodities, and so on, we will also launch exchanges for these segments. So indeed, if you have a large asset representing a new asset class, come to us and we can discuss whether we can support it. We will present the different platforms today. So you will be able to hear about existing functionality and new functionality that is planned. I wanted to mention especially that we are working on asset-backed tokens. Asset-backed tokens is defined in several regulations, including the European Union, MiCA regulation, but also in the UAE. So this is a token that is not necessarily a security, but in many cases not a security, right? So it represents some underlying asset. It could be gold, diamonds, some type of commodity. It mustn't have yield. I would say if it has yield, it will probably be classified as security. But in many cases, you can avoid this, and you have more flexibility with the token. You can list it on Uniswap and other types of crypto exchanges in that case. And we want to support that too with the platform. We have received and seen a lot of demand for this new type of token. So it'll be supported pretty soon by us. So we think that we are slowly removing the obstacles to tokenization. It's become quite inexpensive now to get access to a platform where you can mint your tokens. It's inexpensive also to list the tokens and get them traded, especially for real estate. And it's becoming easier and easier. Global regulation is moving in the right direction, and it's generally becoming easier all the time and less expensive. We have a great team. Also, if you need guidance on legal, product, technology, business, and so on, we can help you. That's pretty much it for me. As the last piece of information, I want to highlight that we are doing a webinar next month as well in the first week of June, focused on the UAE market, the Emirates. I've recently been there myself, and there's a lot of business going on. I believe that longer term, the Emirates, especially Dubai, Abu Dhabi, and some of the other Emirates could become the biggest market for real estate, for tokenized real estate globally, even bigger than the US and Europe, at least in the short to medium term, because there's so much interest even among the large real estate developers to get into the space. So with that, I will give back the word to Gabriel, and have a great webinar.
Thank you, Claus. I am now going to just speak a little bit about the market updates, what we're seeing in the market, and just briefly remind everyone of our different products. So first, just the RWA real world asset market. Globally, if we zoom out a little bit and think about the history of RWAs, I guess we can all agree that it started with stable coins and tokenized cash, whether it's USDT, USDC. And we're slowly moving, and so cash is the most liquid asset, right? And over the years, we're slowly shifting towards the least liquid. So if you think of last year or just the post-crypto winter phase, what was very popular and gaining traction were these tokenized money market funds and treasury bond funds. So very large liquid funds and very homogeneous assets, U.S. treasuries and things that everyone know about. What we're seeing this year are mainly two things. So we're continuing on this towards the least liquid assets, but still quite liquid assets. So we're seeing a lot of projects for tokenized listed stocks. So, for example, what Robinhood just announced, or what Ondo is doing with enabling non-US investors to invest in US stocks through the blockchain. And the other huge trend is yield coins. So it's kind of a fusion between stable coins and the money market funds, where the barrier between cash and the money market fund shares is getting blurred, and they're combining into one. And so there are some groundbreaking initiatives, for example, by Figure with YLDS and Ondo as well with USDY. So we see that as a huge long-term trend, and who knows, maybe in a few years, this notion of a non-yielding cash will just be antiquated. So that's very exciting to think about. And obviously, we expect this movement to continue towards the less liquid assets and towards real estate. So while we haven't crossed the chasm, so to speak, yet on the real estate side, we expect that to come logically and soon in the next couple of years. So we think it's now a very exciting time to get started in the space and tokenizing illiquid assets such as real estate, such that when the wave hits, the mass market adoption happens, people will be ready. That's for the kind of what we're seeing in the market and just the historical context. What we're looking forward to, as well as a stablecoin legislation in the US. Um, the the government has, or the legislative branch, Congress has communicated that before the summer recess, so before the month of August, there will be stablecoin legislation passed. This is very exciting for the entire RWA space, because what you're going to see is clarity on who can issue stablecoins and what needs to be done to issue stablecoins. So we expect most large banks to issue their own stablecoins if they haven't already, and then provide banking integrations. So let's say you open your Bank of America account. There will most likely be, maybe next year, a way to very easily go back and forth between US dollars and then the Bank of America USD stablecoin. I don't know what they're going to call it, but and we're going to see that across banks, and hopefully other jurisdictions will follow suit, and you'll have banking integrations for the euro stable coins, et cetera, et cetera. And what that means is a lot of potential new buyers for tokenized real world assets. If everybody starts using stable coins, it means they're using crypto wallets and getting familiar with the technology, and just seeing how easy it is to use and go back and forth between fiat and stable coins. Then logically they'll be a lot more comfortable investing in tokenized assets. They'll be just conscious of the existence of this technology and the benefits it has, especially for cross-border payments and trading, as you all know on this call. So that's what we're looking forward to. In terms of DigiShares specifically, like what we're seeing with the people we're speaking with, we're seeing increased interest this year from regulated capital markets firms, whether it's in the US, the UAE, or some Asian jurisdictions like Hong Kong. We really think that, following crypto winter, these more institutional players really have emerged, and we're seeing a lot of interest. Whereas pre-crypto winter and a bit during, most of our clients maybe were non-institutional and tokenizing smaller real estate assets. What we're seeing are a bit of the larger ones getting interested. And also, I think an interesting thing we're seeing is commodities, tokenized commodities, becoming a very popular thing. I think the price of the evolution of the price of gold has been such that people realize, that this is a very resilient asset class when there's a lot of volatility in the markets. And so I think that explains why there's a lot of interest for tokenized precious metals, and we're going to have a great use case of that later on this call. So to wrap up, I'm just going to end by quickly reminding everyone of the different products, the platforms that we offer. So I'm just going to share my screen. We're very transparent with our pricing. It's on our website. I don't know if it's currently, yes, now it's working. So you should be able to see my screen. So I'm just on our website where we're transparent with the pricing. So as Claus said, we have this a software as a service option now, which is very low cost, and you can get started very quickly, just in a few days, and tokenize the assets. It has all of the core functionalities. Now, if you want to customize the platform, if you want your logo to be predominant, if you want to pick and choose your integrations, and yeah, and enable more automated fiat payment processing, then you'll need our white label, which is the standard platform and the one that is most used by our clients, and the one which we've deployed for over 5-6 years now. So and then we have an advanced version of that, which is with API access. So this is really if you want to build a mobile app on top of the platform, or customize UI UX so heavily that even we can't recognize our own platform, you'll want API access, and so that's where the advanced platform kicks in. And then, of course, RealEstate.Exchange, that was launched earlier this year in open beta, but we're basically waiving our listing fees for the first asset. If you sign up with DigiShares, we will waive the RealEstate.Exchange listing fee on our side. There will be a $3,500 due diligence fee from our regulated partner. That's a necessity, regulatory necessity. But so we just want to make it very easy for DigiShares clients to switch on the secondary trading functionalities, and enable their investors to trade freely, and not necessarily have to be locked into their assets for years, and if they do exit, not necessarily have to accept a massive discount to net asset value. So yeah, that's what we're seeing in the market. That's what we're seeing with our clients and the people we speak with, and what we're offering today. So we're gonna go to the next speaker, which is Adam Blazsek, who's our head of product, and he's gonna give a demo of the DigiShares platform. Adam, take it away.
Yeah. Hey everyone, let me just go ahead and share my screen. Let me know if you can see it. Right, should be visible.
Yeah, now we can.
Great. So, as Gabriel mentioned, we have 3 tiers of the product, and what we did with launch was simplify the project creation as much as possible, and we learned a lot from trying to minimize the number of steps that an issuer has to go through to actually launch an offering. So what we did was those lessons learned were then ported over to the white label version of the platform, and also the API version. So now, optionally, if you want, when you're logging in as a project administrator, you can log into the launch variant of the quick overview panel. It effectively allows you to switch between the various different offerings very, very quickly without the need of logging out, selecting another project, and then logging back in. What it also allows the issuers to do is to switch the status of the offering, whether or not it's active, so if it's hidden or shown to the investors, or if purchasing is turned on or off. Besides that, we can also very quickly jump into the edit function of the offering itself, and the edit function still consists of 3 main steps. Step number 1 being giving it a title, and from when the offering itself is live, customizing the preview card. So previously, the preview card customization was split into various different menu pieces. Now it's in a single one, and you have the option of choosing how the preview card itself looks like. Do you want the large one? Do you want the default one that I'm showing here? You can upload an image of your choice. The title, of course, is taken from the previous page, but if need be, we can also change it here. The attributes list is also an optional section here that we have the ability to change. On the left-hand side here, we can change the sequence of the attributes, what the attributes themselves are. So I can change the names of the attributes and the values. Plus, if need be, I can also add custom attributes, and I can add as many attributes as I want. And on the values of the attributes, what we can also do is, if the API variant of the platform is selected, live data can also be fed to the attributes list, similar to the way that the auto-populated one works, where we then simply have the ability to change the name of the attribute itself, but the value is then given. In this case, it's given by the system, where I see that I have 39 investors that have gone through the investment process. The last but not least, we have the quick overview section of what is the percentage that has been invested in the offering, and this simply just tells us how many or what is the percentage of the shares that are still left to invest in. And then the last piece here is going to be the presentation method. The functionality of the presentation method, again, is carried over from the launch variant. So we have the ability to simply just upload a PDF or select the complex method of presentation, which means we have an overview page. We have a bunch of pictures that we can upload. We can add additional fields. Within the additional fields, we can add in anything that we want. We can upload iframes, additional videos, pictures, Google Maps integration. We allow for this level of customizability because we have a HTML-based approach to this. So you can simply just copy paste in HTML-based code and it will render immediately. Besides that, you can also upload documents. So you can upload as many documents as you want that are associated with an offering. Yep, let me just finalize the offering itself. The finalization process checks whether or not all the sections are correct, and if they are correct, it will take me back into the agent overview. And from the agent overview, I then have the ability to again step into an offering of my choice. And what I will do is I will very quickly just jump in to the commercial building. And within the commercial building, I now have the standard project page. The project page effectively consists of the overview of the number of shares that I have, plus the distribution of the shares, the number of individuals that invested, number of entities that have that invested, the transactions. We now also show you the transactions up at the top with the latest update, and also the status. So, and what status is the transaction, and if you want, you can also override the transaction itself. So you can decline it or accept it or view additional infos within it. Perhaps the largest update that was released recently was the ability to move investors from one class of share to the other. Effectively, what that means is a single project can have many different classes of shares, as shown here. Previously, they were all completely independent of one another. But we had this functionality where we were able to take investors from one project to the next, so from one insurance to the next. And we were effectively asked, why can you not do that from one share class to the other? So what we developed is a new module. Currently, the module is available on the platform admin, but we are planning on porting it over later this week. And what the module does is it allows for the investors from a single class of share to be copied over to another class of share. The copying functionality itself is pretty simple. We have two sections. We have a from and a to, so a origin and a destination. Effectively, what happens is we have a list of investors that are invested in the origin one, and we can select each and every single investor that we want to copy over, or we can granularly select who we want to be copied over. And the copy functionality effectively allows us to move between share classes very effectively. What we've seen this be used as is a class of shares created as sort of a reservation class of share, where the investors are placed, and once a certain percentage, a threshold, has been reached, the copy functionality is used to move them from the temporary class of share to the permanent equity class of share, or another type of class of share that is the end destination of the investors. And now we have a module for this where we can copy them from one to the other. Another big update that's coming up is a complete revamp of the investor side. The investor side functionally still remains exactly the same. It just had minor updates for speed ups and to keep up with the price feed updates, because we now also support very quick price feed updates on the prices to support the various different types of assets, especially the ones that change in price very, very rapidly. And the biggest change is actually the design language. The design language is effectively brought over from Rex. Rex is a newer product, and we've learned a lot from, again, just UI, UX, and the way that people behave, attention to the buttons, the colors, and how they react to it. And effectively, we now have a new variant in the works. The new variant, just need Figma to comply. I might even just end up reloading it. Effectively, what this means is we are completely redesigning the investor side. We still have the customization of the white label in the forefront. So all the colors and all the fonts, they are our default ones, but you'll still be able to change them as you move along and you find the color combination, the color palette that matches your specific vision. So I just want to show the, there we go, the active projects page. So it's roughly the same functionality, just a different coat of paint. So we still have the quick at a glance overview counters. We still have the selector menu on the left-hand side, but now everything uses a different set of libraries for the presentation. We also have a redesigned variant of the cards themselves. So cards can now come in many different flavors, be it a more visual one where you have an image up at the top, or you can omit the image and have a more textual approach to the cards themselves. Besides that, the purchase process is also getting a slight update where the overview of the class of shares now become more compact, and investors can more easily select a class of share that they would like to invest in, but the process itself remains largely the same, which means a class of share is selected, and once the investment size is selected, then we have a set of documents that need to be signed. Once the documents have been signed, be it in our own inbuilt signing mechanism, DocuSign or Dropbox Sign, then a payment method is selected. We still support the fiat and crypto combination. Even within the fiat combination, we also support payment processors, and through our DPay integration interface, we also support custom integration of payments. Payment processors of your choice. And once a payment method is selected, in this case, a manual bank transfers, which is arguably the most complex one, everything is filled out, then a deposit alert is sent. And we effectively inform the investor that the notification has been sent, and we take them back into the My Portfolio page, which now also is going to include a lot more when it comes to the visual overview of the investments themselves. So we now have charts and graphs, a more cohesive overview of the transaction requests and their statuses. One thing that we are bringing over from the old version of the platform is the ability to click in to the payment status, and if it's crypto-based transfer, then see exactly where the transfer is at within the blockchain explorer. And once everything is passed, then transaction requests, of course, disappear, and then a list view appears for all of the previously invested in offers. And of course, we can still go into a breakdown of the portfolio, and if somebody invested as both an investing entity, so as a company and an individual, they can still have a breakdown of which entity made which investment for the breakdown. We plan on releasing this throughout the year. The very first update will go out for the new login pages, because that is the simplest one. And following login pages, we then go on to the active offerings page. So the starting screen, then the my portfolio page, purchase page, and the trading module, which we are currently working on mocking up. So yeah, that would be a quick overview of what to expect in the next few months, what happened in the past few months. And yeah, I think I'll give the word back to Gabriel.
Thank you, Adam. Looks great. If anyone has questions, please use the Q&A section in Zoom and on the bottom, and not the chat section. And we'll get to the questions towards the end. Thank you very much. So on to the next speaker. Thanks again, Adam. And we're going to now demo RealEstate.Exchange with Martin Hotka, who's our head of blockchain and who's the team leader on RealEstate.Exchange. So Martin, take it away.
Yeah, hi everyone. I will just quickly share my screen. And we can start. So right now what you see is the landing page or login/registration page for RealEstate.Exchange. Basically, the only thing you need to connect or join the platform is a wallet, right? If you have a wallet in your phone, you can use Wallet Connect. You can also copy the link for the QR code and send it and import it if you need it. Then there's a wide variety of other wallets which we support. Basically, anyone can choose one of their favorite wallets. Now, another question you might have is, what if I don't have a wallet? Well, don't worry about that. We also got you covered. So we have email. We also have your favorite social login. So let's say you want to sign in with your Apple account. You just fill in the information and a wallet is created for you. Basically, this smart wallet, you can then self-custody, meaning that you can afterwards export the private keys from the smart wallet framework into your, for example, MetaMask. So in this case, I will be using my MetaMask injected wallet, which is my favorite one, and I will connect to the platform, accept terms of service, sign a cryptographic proof where I show that I own the wallet. And now the next part is KYC, right? So with our KYC approach, as already Claus mentioned, we are working on a standard called Ditto. It's in collaboration with Privado ID. It's an open standard for KYC, verifiable credentials. And in this flow, I will show you some of the flow where basically I already have a credential. And now I plan on reusing it on the platform itself. So first of all, we will be redirected to the Privado page. So here you can see that on the Privado web wallet page, I have my ZK KYC credential, and now it's associated to my wallet. So now what I will do is go back to the platform and I will click verify, which now redirects me to the Privado web wallet flow, where I first need to sign in with my wallet. It should be the same wallet which you are signing in the platform. And once you sign in, you now verify. And basically what you are now verifying is your identity, because once a KYC provider issues a verifiable credential for you, you then own the credential, you then own the data behind it, right? Your data. So now you can use this credential basically on any platform which supports verifiable credentials, and you can skip the KYC process altogether. So now here we can see that my credential was verified and I am now of verified status on the platform because I was also able to join the swap page. So now we can look at the notifications. We also have a Wallet Connect integration. And let's say you are a user or investor who doesn't have any funds in their wallet yet. We have on-ramp integrations where, for example, with Coinbase, you can just log in into your Coinbase account and on-ramp, let's say USDC or any other favorite stablecoin of your choice. And this way, the tokens are already in your wallet. Also, since this is a open beta version, we provide test tokens for familiarizing yourself with the flow. Well, in my case, I already have them claimed. The next thing is the orders page, right? So there you can see basically all the orders. You can look at your live orders or your past orders. Then there is the payments page. And lastly, we have the asset page, right? So let's look at the asset. So in this case, this is all mock data. This is an asset that we provided for testing purposes. On the asset page, you can also look at the orders, the additional information, documents, you have the slideshow. And now you have this big red not whitelisted button, right? So what does this mean? So basically, since we are working with permissioned tokens on permissionless networks, everyone who wants to interact with these tokens needs to be whitelisted, or their wallet needs to be whitelisted, right? So step one is that you KYC yourself and your wallet is whitelisted. And this then triggers the token specific whitelist. So in this case, I can trigger it. And in a second, now I can start trading because all of the prerequisites were met. So here I will be doing a buy order. But before that, since everything is deployed on the blockchain, right? This means that everything is, in this sense, is public. So what I can look at here now is all the transfers which this token has interacted with, or all the smart contracts. I can also look at all the holders and the amounts what their wallets contain. And lastly, I can also, if I feel a bit more adventurous, look at the underlying code of the contract itself. So now when we go back to the page, we also want to see our token in our wallet. So we add it. Now we can see that I have 0 test tokens in my wallet. And right now, let's make our first buy order. So we select how much we want to send and how much we want to receive. We accept the checkbox and we place an order. Now, when placing this order, we are working with a ATS broker dealer, which receives this order and afterwards is verifying it, right? They're doing their due diligence and all of these things behind it. And once the review process is done, which usually takes just a few seconds, the order then will be shown in your live orders as an open order. So we can see that here. So right now, what needs to happen next is that your order needs to get matched, right? So our broker-dealer ATS system is also working as a matching algorithm where for your order to be executed, it needs to be matched. So in this case, we see that my order was already filled. And in the payments, I see that the payment is possible. So now I can also look at my notifications and I can see that the payment is acquired here. So I can either finish the payment on this page, or I can click on the notification, which will send me to a separate page where I can initiate the payment. This payment is happening on the blockchain, right? So it's blockchain settlement. So there are a few steps which need to be done. This first step is usually done just once because you first need to approve the spending of the tokens to a permit 2 contract, which is basically global for the whole blockchain, right? So let's say you want to go on Uniswap. When you approve spending here, you can then reuse it also on a decentralized exchange. So here we get the approval. And now the next thing which we need to do is sign the message, which includes the amount of the tokens we are spending plus the 1.2% fee. So here we can see that we are cryptographically signing that we are allowing the smart contract to spend 15.18 test USDC. So we confirm it, and now we basically broadcast the transaction to the blockchain. So we can check out the transaction and all the bytecode in it, and we confirm. And now the transaction has been successfully broadcasted to the blockchain. Our system recognized it and is now doing its own processing while the transaction gets included in the block of the blockchain. So here I can see that the transaction already passed. So I will just go back to the payments page, and we see that the payment disappeared, which is a good thing, because once we move to the finalized page, we see that the payment was finalized, meaning that it was accepted also by the blockchain. It was verified by our system, and we can also now see that our tokens, which we bought, 15, now are in our wallet in self-custody. So now the last thing we can do, since we are on the blockchain, right, we can check the transaction itself. So here we can see that the fee itself was distributed. The seller received their tokens and the buyer received their tokens. And this conducts the demo. So Gabriel, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Martin. That was great. It's amazing to see how we can go from a system today where you have to get lawyers involved and a broker if you want to trade out of a private real estate shares, and it takes weeks, and you have to like send emails and call people, and that can be replaced by a system like that. So that's really cool. Thanks, Martin. I see that we got a few questions in the Q&A section. We're gonna save them for just a little bit later, because right now I'm gonna ask Fabian Lauterwasser to present his company, his use case. Fabian, the floor is yours.
Yes, thank you, Gabriel. Let me share with you. It's a small thing. I will keep it short for you that we can start with the discussion as fast as we can. We have a new project with Carat Investments here in Switzerland. We are one of the oldest investment class with the gemstones. Our company story is a really old one. We are one of the oldest networks in Europe. We have a 280-year-old exclusive network that we can offer the best products for our customers. And we started in the last year with a new division, 2024 in Switzerland, that we can more standardization the offer to the private customers, and we want to develop in the Swiss market. And for that, we found a partner with DigiShares. We created a lot of new products. You see here the two spaces with the B2B and B2C area. The classic product in B2C is the direct investment. It's just a classic investment with 5 to 7% per year. But a lot of people always ask me the same. Diamonds, you have to invest like 5 carat or higher, that you have really a return in it, because the small diamond market got a little bit of crash in the last years. I think if you want to know a little bit more, you can ask me after the meeting, no problem. What we plan next year for the private person sector is a commodity, the Swiss diamond commodity. And there's something special for us because we work with the local exchange from here, from Bern, and they combine the tokenization market functions with the classic exchange functions. So we have the possibility that our Swiss diamond commodity can be sold to the classic UBS bank deposit and anything else from the banks, if you want to have it there. On the other side, on the B2B market, we have the pension funds and asset managers, our customers, where we work like private equity. It's like classic investments, but there's also in the new possibility about DigiShares that we can offer this one as well as a tokenized product. And what is really completely new for us is that we can offer the special proposed vehicle. The funds was a little bit an old story for us, because the funds are really expensive and we had to spend like over 1 million to release one. And with the DigiShares solution, we can offer it like through 10 or higher, that it is really a low cost alternative, that the customers still have a use case for it. And the last one is the last century, about the historical prices. And there we see that to say it before, the gold is really a big one. It's the leader in our traditional analysis, and then the pink diamond and ruby coming. And so what we want to tell you with this slide is a little bit that we can easily manage something like the Vanguard Real Estate ETF. I don't know if we can handle the DigiShares tokenized real estate, but we can handle the ETF and funds because they have the cost structure, and it's maybe a really good thing to invest a little bit in the gemstones. It is not a liquid market, but we can offer it here really good and have processes that you can sell it like every 3 months in a really good price level. I think that's all from my side, that we can start a discussion.
Thank you, Fabian. And yeah, it seems like gold is just going to keep going up.
Yeah.
It's incredible to see the evolution of the price of gold.
Yeah.
But I guess it's easily explained by just the massive amounts of liquidity in the markets. But thank you so much. Super interesting. So yeah, I mean, we can start with the Q&A section. We got a question from Hamza, which was already answered in writing by Adam in Zoom. But for all of those that are going to watch this on YouTube later on, I think it's worth covering also here. So Hamza was asking about the third-party integrations that are available with the platform. So we have, if you think of the life cycle and the investor flow, if we start at the beginning, there we have different KYC providers that you can choose from in the white label. In the SaaS version, it's just one that is predetermined, but I'm going to speak mainly about the white label here with these integrations. So KYC, you can choose between different providers. For e-signature, same thing. Then you have wallets. So we have a Wallet Connect integration enabling most self-custodial wallets to be used. And Martin showed that a little bit on the RealEstate.Exchange side. You can then have a custodial wallet integration, like if you want to use a Coinbase wallet as an omnibus wallet. So just think of it as one big wallet where all the tokens will sit. And if you don't want each of your investors to have their own wallet, then you can activate that. And then we have payment integrations. So this is mainly fiat because with crypto you don't need an integration. So fiat, we have Stripe and Dwolla for the ACH wire payments, bank wire payments. So everything you need to make that initial purchase, make that initial investment with fiat currency. Then if you can continue down, there's the trading, the secondary trading. So we have ATS integrations. ATSs are the compliant venues for the trading of securities in the US. So we need integrations with ATSs to enable that. Again, sometimes in the industry, you'll see these different decentralized exchanges with real world assets. So you should always check that that's done on a compliant secondary trading venue. And so in the US, it's only possible through an ATS. I think Singapore also and some other jurisdictions have some equivalents of ATSs, but sometimes you do see projects where you wonder, like, under what regulated entity is this happening? And the answer sometimes is none. So always be careful of that in the RWA space. So I think that covers the integrations. Adam, do you have anything to add to what I just said, or does that basically cover it?
That covers it.
Perfect. I was basing my answer on your great summary in writing, so that makes sense that there's nothing else. Then we got a question from Nick about the RealEstate.Exchange pricing. So we're waiving our listing fee. As I said before, we're the only onboarding fee that you have is a $3,500 due diligence fee from our regulated partner. Then there's a fee of a couple $100 a month just for the maintenance. And on the trade, there's going to be a 2.5% total fee taken also by the regulated entities involved. So 1.25 on each side, basically, which is a lot less than if you were to manually broker a transaction and accept have to deal with a illiquidity discount. So yeah, keep that in mind. When you see 1.25, you may think, oh, that's more than on the stock market today, where things are pretty much free, or it's a bit more than trading Bitcoin. But don't forget, we're talking about private real estate shares here, so you need to compare it with what's happening in the market today on that front. So hopefully, yeah, that answers Nick, and please, if you're interested in listing on RealEstate.Exchange, just reach out to us. You can reach out to me directly at gs@DigiShares.io. So then we have another question. I'm just sorry, it just came in, so I'm reading it to make sure. So yeah, it's a question about is there a marketplace? Is there a marketplace to trade these tokens? That's what we're trying to do with RealEstate.Exchange. And as Claus said at the beginning, we'll be expanding to other asset classes in the future. And I think the concern here from Jesper is that it's maybe you won't immediately find an investor to purchase from you if you place a sell order. That's correct. If it's a small scale asset, and if we're at the beginning of the given that we're still early in the space where there aren't millions of investors looking at these types of assets, then yeah, maybe it'll take a bit more time than it takes to trade listed stocks or Bitcoin. That's for sure, because these are less liquid assets. But with the blockchain, with this infrastructure that we're building, you have the option of placing buy and sell orders on these illiquid private assets that previously was not possible. Again, you had to broker things through people, so get a broker involved, a lawyer, and just escrow bank involved, and everything was just entirely manual. Here we have an automated infrastructure for that. But that is a valid concern, and nobody should think that, oh, I'm going to just tokenize an asset and then place a sell order on a blockchain-based trading venue, and then it'll immediately be purchased. That's not exactly how it works. So yeah, I think that's most of our. So we have a follow-up question on the RealEstate.Exchange from Nick. So what do I mean by the 1.25% trading fee? If you place a sell order, and you're matched with a buyer, and the transaction goes through, you will pay a 1.25% transaction fee on that, and the buyer will also pay a 1.25% transaction fee too. So that's and it's different in the sense that this is a secondary trading platform. We do not charge percentage-based transaction fees on the primary issuance side of things. So when the investors make their initial investment, and when the company or the SPV is raising capital, we don't take a percentage on that. So we have a question from Shelley about, I guess, some best practices and like how to make sure that your security token offering is successful. Maybe Adam, you can kickstart us with just some things to remember, like where you see some clients struggling a little bit, and just provide some general best practices that you can think of.
Yeah, sure. So it's it mostly comes down to the scope of the project. If it's a large scale project, then making sure that you have a good team, making sure that you have a good team, making sure that you have the materials ready, making sure the materials themselves, if you have multiple assets, they don't differ from one another, so you have uniformity and you have a cohesive experience across the entirety of the platform. That's sort of key. Once you have that, then effectively it comes down to marketing, making sure marketing is correct and that a brand name is built out. If marketing is good, there's a brand name behind it. So by brand name, I mean appear at various different trade shows, making sure that you're known. So you're not just an unknown entity, an unknown platform. You actually have some weight behind you. There are some faces behind the names. Then you should be fine. This is what we've seen with previously successful projects.
And so Adam works a lot with new ventures that are setting up marketplaces, and so that's the perspective that he's coming from. If you're just the issuer yourself, if you're a real estate company or a gold mine, or and you're tokenizing your own assets, then the equivalent of what Adam just said here is also cultivating your own investor network, making sure that you're reaching the right people. Again, just tokenizing something will not make it attractive to investors, and will not convince investors to necessarily invest. And so yeah, maybe Fabian, do you have any advice for people that want to go through the process and how to be more successful?
Yeah, I think it's like Ayhan asked it already. I think you have to work together with liquidity providers or market makers, and you have to make sure that your customers will be happy with the token as well. Because of that, I think there are different type of projects. With our diamonds, we have to go because of that situation to a standard exchange, not to a token exchange, because we want to offer our customers the best product we can do. And with the real estates, you have still the problem. It's not so easy. You see the problems in the actual use case. And with the new use case about DigiShares, you can offer the customers more products, but if it always fits it all, you have no guarantee for it. But I think you can work together. In Switzerland, we have a lot of asset managers. They still look for really a lot of real estates that they can invest money. So they are really, I think it's at the moment more that you have more buyers than sellers in the real estate. If it is a good object, you still have the handover for it, but it's no guarantee that you can sell it every day. With the diamonds, we have a little bit of other situation. We want to provide a real-time value. not like you ask Ayhan, not a weekly pricing. We want to have it really in a daily base that everybody on the world can see the real-time price. So we can really use it, and the product is really trustful that we can offer it really to everybody. And the size from the tokenization is one of the big parts because we also work in a little bit with the real estates together. At the moment, you have like to invest 200K plus, and with the tokenization, you can also offer it to customers with a little bit like 5K or 10K, or they want to spend a little bit less. You can also offer it to a good pricing.
Thank you, Fabian. Super, super helpful. And yeah, just a bit more about the liquidity providers and market makers. I think eventually the space is going to move towards automated market makers where the issuers can potentially make their own market. So you set aside a little bit of the security tokens and a little bit of stable coins, which will be most likely yield coins, so that they're not just sitting there and not earning yield. And then you can just put that in a liquidity pool and then enable this more frictionless trading between parties, so that when you place an order, then you can immediately complete the transaction. Now, what the fees will look like initially on very liquid assets, probably more than 1.2%. But if someone really wants to get out of an investment in an easy way, then a higher price could be justified in some cases. And maybe for other assets, larger assets down the line, there'll be a lot of interest and activity, and then the fees can go down. So yeah, keep in mind that today we're dealing with in the securities, the RWA side, especially the securities side of things, we're dealing with traditional order book systems that are on blockchain, but there's still a system where both a buyer places an indication of interest, and then the seller does the same, and they're matched. So we're not yet in the AMM era for our RWAs. That's okay, great. I think we've covered all the questions. There's one about, do we have statistics on the success percentage? No, we don't have those. Our clients own their data. Like, we can't just go in and see like if they're having success, but we've seen successful clients. We've seen not successful clients. It depends a lot, as Adam was saying, like on your business strategy. Like, are these good assets? Are you doing good marketing? Like, so yeah, we have low visibility on that front and the actual statistics. So yeah, I mean, thank you everyone for joining. Does anyone want to add one last thing before we jump off the call, or should we just end it here? Sounds like we covered everything. Thank you everyone for joining, and we'll see you on the next DigiShares webinar about the UAE next month. Take care. Bye-bye.